Let's give a quick look to the progressive occlusion cache point string option, which is this one. And it enables the built-in occlusion cache with the specified number of points. Higher values increase the quality of the occlusion information, but requires longer time to calculate before rendering start. Please note, this is important, that this string option, the progressive occlusion cache points string option, will automatically be used for the environment IBL string options when you set the string option to approximate in the lighting mode. We saw this before, no? The default value is 0, which disables the cache. And this is another string option that is the progressive occlusion cache rays. It specifies the number of occlusion rays to be shot per point in the occlusion cache if enabled. Higher numbers increase quality but also raise the pre-computation time. The default value is set to 128. And here there is the progressive occlusion cache max frame. Set a frame number at which to stop using the occlusion cache. The following frames will fade out the cache contribution but converge to the exact IBL solution. The default is 32. I would like to draw your attention, instead to read all the attributes, that this option, the progressive occlusion cache points, is very similar to the option that we saw before in the under the render setting panel. When you select the features tab, you remember this ambient occlusion checkbox, that if you enable this one, in this case is enabled because this Maya scene here that I open for you now is use render passes, so we have to enable the ambient occlusion feature because it will force the mental ray to calculate the ambient occlusion for the render passes, for the mental ray render passes, which actually you can see here under the render passes panel. And for this scene I create many render passes, as you can see, the beauty, diffuse, many. And these are the associated passes, but if there is time I will speak about this later, but I don't think so. Anyway, remember that, as you can see now, this is the ambient occlusion checkbox, and it's the same that we saw also in located under the indirect lighting tab. If you scroll down, you see the last section, ambient occlusion, and here you can see the rays set to 256, and I also told you that these are the default settings that I usually use in production because are quite stable. This just to tell you that mental ray use when you use a different rendering, means instead when you use the normal mental ray renderer with adaptive sampling, these are the attributes. But if you use the progressive rendering, these are the equivalent attributes, okay? And as you can see here, set to 128, the value of the progressive occlusion cache rays. Actually, these are equivalent, corresponding values, just that these are set for the progressive rendering sampler, and the other one is set for the adaptive sampling. I hope I was clear in my explanation. Now it's time to stop the theory part and the descriptive part. But before to do that, just check the array string options settings, which are just on and off. There are not other values or string options. There's only on or off to enable or disable the array rendering mode. So to go to the practice now, I would like to open the fresh scene that we used before in the tutorial, in the presentation, sorry. And remember that before we force mental ray to create the default option node by clicking in the render setting by selecting the quality or the indirect lighting tab. Remember, by selecting one of these two tabs, automatically you force mental ray to create the default option node. Remember that to see this node in the outliner, you must to uncheck the DAG object only option. But what I did, in the scene that comes with the tutorial, to make it more easy for the user, in this one now because it's a fresh scene, let's see another scene, example this one. In the outliner, I create a quick selection set. Means what I did, if you uncheck the DAG object only, let's go to find the default option node here, which is here. How to create a quick selection set? You just select this node in the outliner, and then you go to the Create under the main Maya toolbar, to the Create drop-down menu, and then you scroll down to Sets, and you enable the Create Quick Select Set, and input a name, whatever you want. If you want a new set, okay, let's input this name. Okay, so from now on, if you check again the DAG object only, so we clean up the outliner from all the nodes, you will see that now there is a new set, quick set selection node. Let's test it. If you select this one, automatically the default option node will appear under the attribute editor. If you select the default option tab, this is the default option attribute. To see the strings, because now it's time to go to practice, let's see how these strings are. You must go to the string option section and scroll down. As you can see, starting from string option 0, there are the three lines that we see before. These are three fields actually, which are created by the string options value, name, type and value lines. You remember before I show you in the string options description. So if you scroll down, these are created by default by mental ray. These are always create. Example here you can see the importance, and is set to true because in this scene we are using also importance, and here are the various attributes of the importance. Let's scroll down. After the importance there is the ambient occlusion, in this case is set to false. Let's go scroll down more, and here there is the irradiance particles, which is set to true. I will show you later about the small bug that I told you of in the Maya 2011 and Mental Ray 3.8, that every time you switch to the render setting panel and you click the quality, wait one second, okay, and the indirect lighting tab, automatically it will switch the irradiance particle string option to the value to false. So what you have to do, every time you have to go to input again the value true to re-enable the irradiance particle feature. This is a small bug. Remember, every time you open the render setting panel and you select the quality or the indirect lighting tab, it will switch the irradiance particles to false. So let's scroll down a little bit more. These are all the irradiance particle string options. Actually, I think you understand already by now that the string option is a way of programming by yourself to instructing mental ray to create features and attributes. Example, for the irradiance particles or the importance. Let's go back to the importance 1 second. What you do by creating this, by using the string option. Okay, let's see the important true or false. If you with the string option with the 3 lines of code, okay, the name, the value, and the type that I showed you before, actually you create this feature with all these attributes that comes down, and is a very good thing to learn this, because you learn how to implement mental array by yourself. For example, as you can see, the importance, let's go under the feature tab. If you practically with the string option you create a checkbox, okay, just simple as that, because as you can see here now is the value is true, correct importance. Let's open again the render settings panel. If you uncheck this option under the feature panel or under the indirect lighting panel tab, sorry, open the importance section, okay, this is a dimmed. If enabled, the importance are emitted and important map is created to help to speed up the global illumination computation. Okay, anyway, it's dimmed here, so you control it from the features tab. Now you see is the checkbox is enabled. Check again one more time. Okay, set to true. Now reopen the render settings panel. Let's try to disable it. Okay, it should appear as false. You see what happened? Let's say that you create your own attributes and features in mental array thanks to the string option. This is very good. You have a total control on mental array from now on.